All right, team, what's up? If we're in order on this bad boy, it's gonna be Friday for you, which is fun. We're doing some Proverbs. Check out some old vids here. If this is your first time here, Proverbs, ancient wisdom. Been around thousands of years. You find this little book in the Bible right past center, just to the right of center. If you just crack it open. First book ever printed, really a library. The word Bible, bibliothèque, French, library. It's a library. 66 books. This wisdom is way older than all of us all put together. Well, I don't know how many of us are watching this now, but it's thousands of years old, so that takes quite a few people, right? All right, so I'm going to read chapter 19. I haven't read this in a while, but I will then respond to whatever jumps into this pretty little head of mine. You know what I mean? And that was a joke, yeah. Pretty little. Kind of big, as my son would say, Michael. He's like, Dad, I got the biggest head in my whole class. Okay. Chapter 19 of the book of Proverbs. Better the poor whose walk is blameless than a fool whose lips are perverse. Desire without knowledge is no good. How much more will hasty feet miss the way? A person's own folly leads to their ruin, yet their heart rages against the Lord. Wealth attracts many friends, but even the closest friend of the poor person deserts them. A false witness will not go unpunished, and whoever pours out lies will not go free. Many curry favor with the ruler, and everyone is the friend of one who gives gifts. The poor are shunned by all their relatives. How much more do their friends avoid them? Though the poor pursue them with pleading, they are nowhere to be found. The one who gets wisdom loves life. The one who cherishes understanding will soon prosper. A false witness will not go unpunished, and whoever pours out lies will perish. It is not fitting for a fool to live in luxury. How much worse for a slave to rule over princes? A person's wisdom yields patience. It is to one's glory to overlook an offense. A king's rage is like the roar of a lion, but his favor is like dew on the grass. A foolish child is a father's ruin, and a quarrelsome wife is like the constant dripping of a leaky roof. Houses and wealth are inherited from parents, but a prudent wife is from the Lord. Laziness brings on deep sleep, and the shiftless go hungry. Whoever keeps commandments keeps their life, but whoever shows contempt for their ways will die. Whoever is kind to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will reward them for what they have done. Discipline your children, for in that there is hope. Do not be a willing party to their death. A hot-tempered person must pay the penalty. Rescue them, and you'll have to do it again. Listen to advice and accept discipline, and at the end you'll be counted among the wise. Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. What a person desires is unfailing love. Better to be poor than a liar. The fear of the Lord leads to life. Then one rests content, untouched by trouble. A sluggard buries his hand in the dish. He will not even bring it back to his mouth. Flog a mocker, and the simple will learn prudence. Rebuke the discerning, and they will gain knowledge. Whoever robs their father and drives out their mother is a child who brings shame and disgrace. Stop listening to instruction, my son, and you will stray from the words of knowledge. A corrupt witness mocks at justice, and the mouth of the wicked gulps down evil. Penalties are prepared for mockers, and beatings for the backs of fools. Okay, wow, it was interesting. My head was kind of spinning as I was reading that, because I try to read it and absorb it. You know, I've read this before, but each chapter is different, and there's kind of different themes. I guess in the beginning, there's quite a bit about the difference between being wealthy and being poor. Wealth is good, poor is bad. Understand that the context in which this is written, the authors at the time, and the common knowledge at the time, and still to this day, I think this is something that people believe, whether they even say it or not. But the idea that if you are poor, it's because God's cursing you. It's God doing it. The book of Job is all about this. If you are wealthy, that's because God's blessing you, because you must be righteous and good. So we can see by the external results of your life in this world, how right you are with God. Now, Jesus shows up and kind of turns a lot of that on its head, maybe even not by his own doing, but by the way people took it to almost be honorable to be poor and destitute, which I don't think was the meaning of that. That's a whole other topic. But just understand that that's where this is coming from. Some people might look at some of these verses and say, oh, this is brown nosing. Many curry favor with the ruler, and everyone is the friend of one who gives gifts. I think that's just a statement of, hey, that's how the world works. Okay, you don't have to like it or not like it. You don't have to think it's right or wrong or fair or unfair. This is just the way it is. And then there's some more of the advice as it relates to, treating a king. We talked about this, I think, yesterday, the day before. A king's rage is like the roar of a lion, but his favor is like the dew on the grass. The idea being that the king has a lot more power and authority than you do. So if you're smart, you're going to treat the king well because you don't want to be on the wrong side of the king. There's some stuff here about family. This line I've heard before. I've actually heard it taught on, but a foolish child is a father's ruin, and a quarrelsome wife is like the constant dripping of a leaky roof. I love I'm not an English major, whatever that is. Is that alliteration? I don't know. What is that? Where they take and the quarrelsome wife is like a constant dripping of a leaky roof. And if you've ever been somewhere where it's like leaking, you don't know where it is, or maybe it's leaking outside and dripping, and just the annoyance of that. And I think there's probably people that have known, whether it be a wife or someone else, but a wife is probably the worst if someone's going to be that person in your life. Discipline your children, for in that there is hope. Do not be a willing party to their death. That's really interesting too. Remember, discipline is correcting, setting on the right path, putting the right way. I tell parents all the time, the hardest part about being a parent is making a declarative statement to your child, depending on the age. Because if you say, come here, and they don't, are you willing to get up off the couch and discipline them for not obeying you? I'm not a fan of 1, 2, 3, parent however you want, but all you're teaching is delayed obedience. Are you going to say 1, 2, 3 when there's a train coming and your kid's on the tracks? Come here, Johnny. Johnny, come here. Johnny, 1, Johnny, 2, Johnny, splat, Johnny's dead. So I believe in direct and first-time obedience when it comes to children. And I think that's also who you want to be for yourself. Do you really want to have to tell yourself something 4 times before you listen to yourself and do it? Which is why we call that term self-discipline. And confidence comes from self-discipline. I just had a conversation with my mom actually about my son. And the line was, it was my dad. But, a lot of people, when you see confidence in a young child, you think of it as being not humble, and that's dangerous. And I don't think so at all. I think self-esteem and self-confidence come from believing in yourself, literally, whether it's by example or evidence or not. So in other words, my son told his buddy that his baseball team was going to be his buddy's baseball team because my son said how great he was at baseball. My son had never played a baseball game in his life, never even played baseball hardly at all, but just in his head, well, I'm good at stuff, so I'll be good at it, And he was, as his father, I was proud because he did do well when they played. But, self-confidence, self-esteem, self-value, and believing that you're good at something doesn't mean you put someone else down to build yourself up, right? That's humility. Humility is seeing everyone as equal, but that doesn't mean that you can't see yourself as being good or have confidence in your ability. But self-confidence, that self-esteem, that self-discipline is in the same way that if you ask someone, an employee, a child, a spouse, a friend, a coworker, a teammate, whatever, to do something and they came through every single time, you would have confidence in that person. So when you tell yourself something, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and you do it over and over and over again, you will build confidence in yourself. So when you tell yourself to do something, you're going to do it. One of the main reasons myself and people that I know that share the same opinion maybe participate in willful physical challenges is because the physical body is guaranteed to send you messages. You will feel pain. You will feel endorphin rushes. You will feel adrenaline. You will feel fatigue. You will feel soreness. And when you push your body in times of discomfort, you gain self-confidence because you know that you have the ability to tell yourself to do something, even though it doesn't feel good, knowing that it's going to be good for you in the long term. And that gives you confidence in other areas of life when you may be in a relationship situation, you may be in a work situation, a career situation, difficult decision, and you know what's right or you know what you need to do. And so you tell yourself, this is what I'm going to do. And you know you're going to do it because you have the track record of yourself telling yourself something and then following through on it. And that's why an addiction, which I know something about personally, I would say, maybe not to the degree that some people do, but that's why addiction with something that's unhealthy or that's bad or something you don't want to do is so destructive to self-confidence, self-esteem, pride, confidence, if I already said that already. And it doesn't have to be an addiction to a substance or a drug or alcohol or something like that, which are incredibly poisonous, terrible things in their own right, if addicted to and used improperly. But it could also just be a mental thought, an idea that you're addicted to. It's oh, I'm not good enough, or blah, 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 whatever it is that's not really true, but you maybe either convince yourself for true, or for whatever awful reasons other people in your life have convinced that because of their own insecurities, because of their own lack of self-esteem, their own whatever, they've chosen to put you down, and you've now come to believe that can be hard to build that confidence back up again because of it. So I'm getting a little, I don't want to sound like psychobabble because I'm launched off of Proverbs here, but that word discipline, we hear it in so many different contexts. And I just wanted to talk about self-discipline. There's a lot of great stuff in here that I didn't talk about. Of course, that happens every single time. Please do me the favor, and if you're made it this far, just hit the subscribe button. That helps more people see what I think is some valuable content. Forget about what I said. If all that happens is people just hear some of this ancient wisdom and something gets planted, or some little tiny shift happens in their mind, or they're wiser than they were, I would say that the more wise people we have on planet Earth, probably the better off we're all going to be. That's what I'm thinking. So all I got to say for today, have a great day if it's the beginning. Hope you had a great day if it's ending. And if you're in the middle, keep rocking and rolling. And take one of these verses. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think of the whole chapter. Tell me what you think of something. Make a comment, ask a question, engage. You're going to be dead soon anyways. You might as well play the game, right? Roll the dice. Okay, we're going to end with a little more Name That Tune. Again, this song isn't as obscure, but not like some famous oldie but goodie type of thing, but great song. And this song, by the way, I did mention the addiction thing because I knew the song was coming. This song is a story about a husband writing to his wife who has become addicted to drugs. I believe they're prescription painkillers, like opioids, nasty, nasty stuff. And that's what the lyrics of the song are about. It's about, hey, you can move past this. Like, there is a life on the other side of this. It's not all over. Let's leave this behind us. And you can listen to the song yourself. All right, there we go. Hey, again, I already said goodbye, so goodbye again.
How did we get here? What comes away one lonely shore? I can see in your eyes, dear. It's hard to take for a moment more. We've got to burn the ships, cut the ties, send the flame to the night. Say a prayer, turn the tide, dry your tears and wave goodbye. Step into a new day. We